everybody. Welcome to Lunch and Learn Live. Miss Carissa, how are you doing today? I am again sharing our Lunch and Learn Live into our portal, which unfortunately I'd love to have it done before we get on, but it doesn't allow me to do that. So here we are.
Strange. Technology is such a bummer sometimes.
I know. Well, we still get the opportunity to do this, which is really great. So those of you who are watching, give us a shout out, say hello, let us know how you're doing today. We've got a lot to talk about. We are going to talk about moving into the fall season with our health and boosting our immunity. So I know that is a hot topic for everybody. So you know how fall gets, like everyone ends up the back to school, all of that stuff. It ends up for, some people being one of those difficult periods of time in terms of, catching everything that's coming through the school or through the fall and all of that. So we're going to talk about that today. So those of you who are watching, give us a shout out in the comment section, say hello so we know that you're there. And that way we can interact with you. We always love interacting with everybody because it's so much fun than just talking to ourselves.
Yes.
All right. I'm almost done here.
Yeah.
But Carissa, tell me. Go ahead.
I think it's important to focus on immunity into the fall season because I feel like the body is kind of becomes more susceptible to like the colds and the flu and the seasonal changes. But I also believe it's because we tend to transition into a state that is different from summer, right? So I think it's not really the fall that brings in the colds and the sicknesses, but it's more so like our lack of getting outside. We tend to eat more sugar in these warmer months. Colder months. We tend to not really do outside activity anymore. We also don't get as much vitamin D. And if we're not supplementing, that can now affect our immune system. So I think it's really important to highlight those. And stress, right? Everything's starting to change, routines change, and we kind of drop all those things that we did in the summer months when we should kind of just keep them going.
Yeah, it's so true. I always, people are always really worried when cold and flu season comes around. And I kind of chuckle. It's like, well, you want to know where it's coming from. It's blatant, so we go into all the transitions with fall, and then all of a sudden flu season happens in the October, November, December. Well, that's because we've had a sugar holiday followed by a pie holiday, followed by like a chocolate holiday. And so, we've done a really good job of feasting, taking in a ton of sugar and literally reducing our immune system. So we've got a couple months before those things happen, of course, but let's talk about the things that we can do as we move into the fall, because there's a lot that we can do to keep our immune system really strong. And, I'm going to start with number one being watch your stress levels, because we can talk about, supplements, we can talk about things like that, but let's start with those lifestyle pieces that are really important for us just to maintain, so we don't have to do necessarily things totally differently. It doesn't cost us a dime to really focus in on how we're doing with our stress levels. Are there places where we're not saying no? For some of you who are like, I've got to be PTA mom, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. We have some clients who are like that. And I know the conversations I always have is that necessary? Or is this some place where we could create some space and time for yourself? So ask yourself about those different areas in your life where these things are happening, So that stress is really important. And then, I always tell people life is going to get, for some people, life gets really busy as we move into the fall. So what can you do to mitigate those stress levels? I mean, Carissa, what are some of the things that you do?
Well, we were talking about it before. Meditation, breath work, and exercise are really what I turn to, as well as making sure that I have good habits for my sleep hygiene.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Making sure that I'm minimum 7 to 8. I like to shoot for the 9 hour.
Yeah.
And just creating a calming bedtime routine, I think is important, making sure I'm not watching TV right before I go to bed and rather like reading a book.
Yeah.
And then during the day, just waking up and, doing those meditations, doing some gentle stretching, getting outside if I can. And I'll pretty much get outside at any time. I just really don't love cold rain. I will walk in warm rain, but I don't like cold rain. But going to the yoga studio or strength training, that just contributes to my overall wellness as well as reducing my stress level.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, these are all things that are designed to reduce our stress level. I tell people it can be really as simple as, if you're commuting back and forth to work or taking your kids to school or doing your grocery shopping, like the minute you see a light, like attach that light to breathing. So every time
love
you
that.
stop at your traffic light, that's the trigger. And now you're going to take some deep breaths and just really connect with yourself, bring down your nervous system, get your body out of that frenzied kind of state, or if you're stuck in traffic, instead of being in a frenzy state about the traffic and this and that, like just practice bringing in those deep breaths. Because when our body is stressed, we're automatically bringing our immune system down. And that's a really big deal. And the other thing I want to just reiterate what you said, Carissa, is sleep. So sleep is one of the most important things that we can do for our health, for our longevity, for our stress management, for all of it. So you really want to be making sure that you're getting in good quality sleep, right? And if you're having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, you should be working with us, because those are things that have to be corrected so that they don't spiral out of control. Okay. And we're expert in that. Our clients will, I don't know who's on and watching, but they'll certainly tell you we can get you to sleep and have you stay asleep, because that's what we're really good at. But it is one of those key factors in terms of our health and longevity, and making the time to sleep. I mean, that's the other piece, right? Is making sure that you've got a routine and you've got a schedule, get yourself to bed by 9-10 o'clock. And a lot of people are doing what? What are you doing before bed? Type into the comment section, what do you do right before bed, right? A lot of people, they've got their phones and they're doing the scroll, that nighttime scroll before bed. First of all, you're giving yourself all that blue light exposure, right? You are putting your brain into a trance state. So you guys, it's interesting. A lot of people do their shopping at night when they're on their phone, but think about what you're actually doing, right? The scroll puts you into a trance, so you're susceptible to whatever messages are in that scroll. And unfortunately, there's a lot of anxiety and stuff going on social media these days. Yes. So put the phone away. If you've got to wind yourself down, grab a book, do a meditation like Carissa said. These are much better things to do. Okay. And then, of course, having yourself stay asleep, that's going to be really important, so that when you wake up, you're actually able to feel rested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so sometimes I get stuck on scrolling. I definitely have done that myself. And so what I do in those moments, because sometimes when like my brain feels like, right, that's usually what like leads me to scrolling, is like that constant like dopamine rush, like, okay, which is not helping me fall asleep. So what I will do is I will use the TV, and I love to watch a nature show. So I know the blue light in the TV is not the best either, but it seriously does help relax me. To watch nature shows or anything world. And then, I shut off the TV before I fall asleep.
That's key. Don't fall asleep with your TV on, because then that interrupts your body's functioning. I mean, your body will produce the melatonin that it needs, but you need to have an environment that's conducive to that, right? So that is like a pitch black room. Those of you who have street lights coming in, or lights from all different electronic devices or things like that, get some of them blackout curtains on there. Cover up whatever lights are on the TV or the alarm clock or whatever, and make sure you're not taking your cell phone and sticking it next to you on the side of the bed, okay, in full mode. I mean, at least put it into airplane mode so that thing's not kind of going on all night right next to you with the electromagnetic frequencies. That's important. So sleep, really important. And then you guys, the fall is a good time too. As always, we can never stress enough how important what you're putting in to nourish your body is. So your nutrition any time of year is key. And so as we move into the fall and we're concerned about our immune systems, yeah, we want to make sure we're getting in a lot of foods that are high, for example, in vitamin C, like your berries and your cherries and your red peppers. Green leafy vegetables are always, on the list for us. And, I would say the other thing too, think about, I like to make sure I get in some sunflower seeds because they're really high in zinc. So, and they taste really good on a salad. It's easy to add those sunflower seeds in, but that zinc is really important to keep us going as well. And we can get it very easily through the foods that we're eating. So why not?
Oh, that's a good tip with the sunflower seeds. I didn't recognize that they were high in zinc.
Oh,
I usually go for like fermented foods. I know you love sauerkraut too, Danielle. Anytime I go away with you, you have a big jug of sauerkraut.
Who needs sauerkraut?
Or I'll do like prebiotic foods like onions and garlics and leeks.
Yes.
Anything just to support a healthy microbiome. And I typically love to do shakes in the morning because I'm not very hungry in the morning. So yeah. I do love to add the Premier greens powder.
Yes.
I add that. And then of course I take their probiotic, which is really good too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this a lot in our Lunch and Learn lives, because your gut health is, again, it's the foundation of your health, the foundation of your mood. It's, if our gut goes astray, autoimmune disease starts to creep up. So it is important that we do really hone in and make sure that we're giving our gut what it needs. And that is the source of our immune system. I always joke around, a couple of years ago when the virus hit, everybody was in panic mode. And I'm like, hey guys, wait, before you panic, let's just talk about how's your gut? How's your diet? Are you taking your vitamin D? Like just the basic stuff, because that's where we needed to start,
1000%.
So that's the other thing I do want to point out is we need to pay attention to our mind as well. And what happens with our mind and how much we allow it to get out of control or how much we keep it in control. Because I think one of the things that happened way back when all of that stuff occurred is that there was this constant message of fear and anxiety and, oh my gosh, doom and gloom. And I think that the mind is a very powerful thing. And so if that's the message that's being input into our minds, then it's no wonder that we saw a lot of people actually get sick, right? Yeah. Mind creates. So how can you use that to your advantage, right? So you can visualize yourself as going through the fall, as happy, strong, healthy, with a strong immune system. That's very different than being like, uh-oh, here comes the fall. I know every time the school year starts, I get sick a bunch of times. Well, what if you switch that? What if you switch that mentality? When we switch that mentality, we can actually switch the outcome because the mind is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
I always say your body hears everything you're thinking.
It does. The mind-body connection has a huge impact.
Yeah.
Physical well-being. It's really important to note that. And I will also note too that, 3 years ago when my husband got COVID, Danielle, you helped him get through it in like 2 days.
Yeah. Imagine. We could nip it in the butt and feel good.
2 days it took him to where he was feeling a lot better and, just by you helping him. with what you do. So I thought that was pretty incredible. And since we were talking about it, I wanted to note it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think all of our clients know if something acute happens, you reach out to us in your portal ASAP. We make sure we get you on the right track. That's part of what we do, you know. But okay, so let's talk. So we talked about mindset, we talked about stress, we talked about meditation, we talked about breathing, right? We talked a little bit about those lifestyle factors, not being in this kind of crazy, harried space all the time, giving ourselves the opportunity to rest and allow our bodies the time to just acclimate to the new season. Okay. And then it's also, fall is a time of, everything starts to die off and starts to shed. And this is something that we should, just be mindful when it comes to our bodies and really listen, hone in and listen to what it is that your body is telling you. I can't wait for my TED Talk to come out because we're gonna hone in a lot of this stuff after it comes out. I know I'm holding back on everybody a little bit about what my talk is about, but I've created something really awesome that I think is gonna really help our community and help others throughout the planet. But stay tuned for that. That's all.
How will we be able to view it? We just go on TEDx and we're able to get right in?
So our live is the end of this month, but it won't get released probably for a couple weeks thereafter. Okay. So, and then we'll release it. We'll release it virtually, but anybody who's in the Huntington Beach area, come on over. You can come see us all live. That is on the 28th of September. So we're
exciting. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. And then of course we have the book coming out in October, and I have another book that's going to come out. I'm not sure what the actual release date is going to be. I'm hoping it'll be by December, but it might be for the new year. So we'll
Very
see.
Exciting stuff.
That goes. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Okay, so we went through foods and things like that as well. All your vitamin C foods, your probiotic, your prebiotic foods, all being really important. And you guys too, I know there's like in the world, it's like, oh, no carbs, no carbs, no carbs. Sweet potatoes are one of my favorite fall foods, or the Japanese purple potatoes. I mean, there's a lot of good nutrients in those. So I encourage people not to be fearful of those things, even though there is hype on no carbs, carbs are bad. They're not necessarily bad. Now, a jelly donut kind of carb, that's going to poison your body, right? And it's loaded with sugar. I always tell people, think about what you're taking in. So if you've just had a bunch of sugar, okay, now what happens is your immune system is depressed for hours, sometimes days, depending on what it is that you had. So if someone comes around and they've got, whatever on their hands, they touch the doorknob and you touch it after, if your immune system is depressed, you're more susceptible. Okay. I do really believe that what our environment is in our body determines whether or not we can catch whatever it is that's out there. So the stronger and more resilient your body is, then the more resistant you are to whatever else everyone else is getting out there, right? And the faster you recover as well. So that's important to pay attention to. Always think about what's happening with you in your body. Don't worry about what's happening all out there. Okay. So, and then a couple other things like, let's say you do end up not feeling well, then those of you who are clients, that, you have your Premier Research Labs portal account. If you are listening to our Lunch and Learn Live and you do not have a portal account, then send us a message. You can either email us at info@southbaywellness.com or direct message us in wherever it is that you're looking at this Lunch and Learn Live, and we'll get you set up so that you have access. But you guys, things like the allocidin is one of my favorite. I always have it in there. Anytime there's any kind of nasally, mucusy thing like that, the allocidin is my go-to. I also really like the nucleoimmune. So the nucleoimmune is the nucleotides, which is the building blocks, right? It's the building blocks for our cells. So when we have the nucleoimmune, we can usually snap out anything that's headed our direction and get rid of it really fast and have the body be really strong and resilient. So that is one of my favorites. Carissa, you already spoke about vitamin D. That is an important one on the list, especially because most people are depleted.
Mm-hmm.
But making sure your minerals are up nice and high is important. Those of you who have been clients with us for a while, you know, we'll have you start to test your pH and monitor your body's pH to identify where that is. Because when your pH is nice and strong, then so is your health and your health resilience. So that's another really important one. And then the olive leaf immune, I love that one. The Immunoven, I love that one as well. So, and you guys who are our clients, you can always talk to Carissa and I will help you hone in which ones are really most specific to what it is that you need specifically. You know, the Reishi Immune, I love that as well. So we've got lots of good tips, tricks, and hacks. We've already talked, I think, on another Lunch and Learn Live about even using the limonene oil instead of using those hand sanitizers, right? With all their chemicals and stuff and disrupting, you know, the biome of the skin, then just a couple drops of that limonene oil can be very effective.
And it smells so good.
It does smell good.
It really does. It's such a pleasant one. I love it.
Yeah. So you guys who are watching, go ahead and put any questions that you have into the chat. We're happy to take your questions, or just give us a shout out and say hello so we know that you're there and watching, or if there's anything else. Carissa, what have we missed? What do we need to talk about that we haven't covered yet today in terms of keeping our immune systems really strong as we go into the fall?
Well, two things that I was thinking of that because I try to go through, like, what do I do? Like, what's my process? And the two things that I thought of were hydration, because I mean, hydration is crucial all year round, right? Because it helps the body flush.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
I tend to, so like I always have like my turmeric and ginger tea, which counts as hydration. I always have my, you know, liquid supplements, whatever they are here.
Right here.
And then I have my plain water that I usually mix with lemon.
Yeah.
But I also love to, and I tend to do them more in these seasons, is I love doing the castor oil packs.
Oh,
I love doing dry brushing, you know, anything to help my body detox naturally. And those are two of my favorites to do. Also because they're both so relaxing to me. I love the way the dry brush feels. I love the way it makes my skin feel after I get out of the shower, because you do it on dry skin. And I just love the castor oil pack also.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, Rob. Good to see you. Michelle saying you can't hear our video. So yes, Michelle, you can watch it later, but she can't hear me. Yeah, Rob, let us know if you have any questions for sure. Carissa, I love castor oil packs. So you can do, so the thymus gland, by the way, is if you feel right down your chest, this is a bug bite, it's not going away, right down your chest with a little bump right here. This is your thymus point. Okay. And that's a really good one when you feel like you're getting under the weather, or you're feeling like you need a good immune system boost. You can do a castor oil pack right on here. And those of you who are like, what is a castor oil pack? Message us. We will get you set up. We'll tell you what supplies you need. We'll give you a link where you can get them, and we will send you our instructions that we use with all of our clients on exactly how to do a castor oil pack, because we have
proper instructions. I want to say,
I know.
All over the internet that are like, sleep with it on, and I'm like, oh God, no.
Yeah, that is a big thing. I'm grateful that the internet has brought us awareness of castor oil packs. I mean, we've been using it, you know, for our last, 16 years that we've been in practice. But the castor oil packs are a detoxification process. So I am not a fan of leaving it on the body for extended periods of time, because those of you who know, we do a lot of kinesiologic testing in our practice, and it's kind of like energy eyes is what we call it. It allows us to really know, well, how long is that pack really good on the body for? And I will tell you, around that 10 or 15 minute mark, usually that pack goes off. meaning it's done. It's not giving you any more benefit. And if you leave something toxic on your skin, you don't want to go retoxify. You want to get it off and move on with your day. So yes, we can send you good instructions on how to get that castor oil pack done. So just message us, reach out. We'll make sure that you are gotten taken care of. But I love that. And I know we only have 2 minutes here, but one thing that you made me think of when you're talking about the dry brushing and all of that, you guys, it is about moving the lymph. So getting the lymph in the body moving. And Carissa mentioned dry brushing. There's always rebounding. So a little mini trampoline is like not only fun, and if you've got kids, they happen to love them too, but it's really good for getting everything moving. But exercise, right? Getting your body moving. What I love about the fall is like we can go out and walk and run and jog and do whatever it is that we want to do outside, because the weather is a lot more friendly to us than it's been, otherwise. So I see a bunch more of you just jumped on. So give us a shout out in the chat box and say hello to us there in that comments section there. And let us know if there's anything you want to hear specifically about keeping yourself healthy and strong for the fall, because that's what we are covering today, keeping your immune system strong for the fall. So yeah, getting out there is really important. And I want to point out something, Carissa, because we have, when we're working with all of our clients, obviously exercise is an important part of their journey. And we've got a lot of clients who are out there and they're like, oh yeah, I go for my walk every day. So I encourage you guys to be a little bit more specific or a little bit more rigorous, obviously based upon what your capabilities are and where your body is specifically out. But even just to use that activity like bursting, where you're going for your walk really, really hard, or maybe you jog or sprint for a little bit, and then you kind of cut back. You do that for like 30 seconds, then you cut back for like a minute and a half, and just go nice and easy. And then do that all over again. That is very powerful. It's a powerful way to get the lymph moving. But not only that, it works the cardiovascular system. It strengthens your heart. Okay. And for those of you who are concerned about weight or weight loss, it is another way to really help to boost your metabolism. So I encourage you, take your little walk or your exercise routine to another level for sure. Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Awesome, guys. All right. Well, that is our Lunch and Learn Live. Carissa, anything else that we need to point out?
I think we covered everything. I just would love to encourage everyone to just start implementing one or two things like today, because I feel like we went through a lot of really awesome things, like, with food, with hydration, meditation, exercise, getting a supplement routine, reaching out to us for detox ways or supplements, or, we can help with recipes, meditation. We're actually doing our meditation on Tuesdays starting next week. We'll have that group going.
Oh, yes. We should mention that. Yes. So guys, our Tuesday morning meditations, what time is it? It's at 6 a.m.
Eastern.
6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is open for everybody. You do not have to be a specific client of South Bay Wellness, but it is open to anybody who wants to participate. And that begins on Thursdays, right? Is that next Thursday? Tuesday. Next Tuesday. So that begins next Tuesday. So be there, because this is a great way to join in with the community. And Carissa is going to be leading those. Many of them will be live meditations, and she is designing those meditations based upon what things come up for clients a lot in their journeys to really help you move past and break through some of the places where you get stuck. So definitely mark that on your calendar. And you guys too, who are like, well, I haven't really worked with South Bay Wellness, but I kind of just want to dip my toe in an easy way. We do have a group-based program that is launching. We'll open registration this month. It's coming next week. We're going to open registration this month, and the program begins in October. So we're going to be working with you and taking you through the holiday season so you can maintain excellent, amazing health through the holiday season and get rid of some of those chronic health issues that you're dealing with and that you're sick and tired of dealing with. So that those things are coming. We do have a question here from Elizabeth. So Elizabeth is asking about elderberries and honey for the fall, especially dealing with allergies. Yeah, so I also love quercetin, Elizabeth, when it comes to allergies, but elderberry is good. Honey is good. The honey should be a local based honey because your allergies are based in local, right? Whatever's happening locally in the environment. There's also one of my favorite things for allergies. Premier Research Labs has Aller Caps. So we can help you. We can help you get a Premier Research Labs account and get you set up so that you can order through our portal. But the Aller Caps is wonderful for allergy season. And then, of course, I don't know if you heard earlier, but one of my favorites that I always keep in the pantry is the Alicidin. So if you feel like the allergies get out of control and now you feel like, oh, maybe I'm getting some sort of, infection or things like that in the mucous membranes, then the Alicidin knocks that stuff right out on its rear. So that's the other one that I really recommend. Couple more of my favorites, you guys, that I forgot is colloidal silver. I love colloidal silver, both internally or on anything externally. One of my favorites. And Elizabeth, just thinking about the allergies. So I love homeopathics for allergies as well. So histaminium is one of my favorites because that stops the histamine reaction. But there are actually on the market, there are several really good homeopathic combinations that, with homeopathy, the homeopathic remedies are very specific. And there's of course debate in the homeopathy world. Do you have just one or do you have combinations? And so there's two different schools of thought. But I do use combination remedies as well because I find that they are very effective. So there are some good allergy homeopathic combinations that you can use. My original one though is the histaminium. That's my go-to when I start to feel allergy symptoms. And I keep that on hand because apparently I'm highly allergic to fire ants. So that's one of my fire ant remedies as well.
Yes, I love homeopathy too. We use it a lot. You could use it for kids. You could use it for babies. I mean, you could use it for anyone. So I definitely love that. And a neti pot. I love
Oh, yes. I have a love-hate relationship with the neti pot.
Yeah, I don't love to do them, but they're helpful.
I don't love to do them, right? It's like not necessarily the most comfortable thing. So those of you who don't know what the neti pot is, it looks like a little tea kettle with a little spout. And you'll use water with a little bit of, real good, clean, pure salt, not the white stuff, but like a nice, clean, organic or, nice, clean, not necessarily organic, but nice, clean sea salt. A lot of sea salts, you guys. I love the Premier Research Labs pink salt because I know it's clean. A lot of manufacturers, they use metal screens to do their salt. So you end up with metal in your salt. So you want to be really conscientious of what you are using. So I like the Premier Research Labs.
That's all I use. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all we use in our house too. And now with the pink salt complete, you can even have some extra, food-based vitamins thrown in. But anyway, so I will use that warm water with some of the Premier Research Labs pink salt. And essentially what you do is you've got the container there, you put that spout by your nose, you tilt your head, you tilt the bucket, and it allows the water to go in, come out the other side, and literally clean out the nasal passages. So if you're thinking you're breathing stuff in, it's just kind of washing everything else out. And that's another thing, like during allergy season, really easy to do. Just like when you get back inside, take a shower, clean everything off. And then of course, home air purification, you guys. So we're a big fan of Austin air purifiers. If you need an air purifier, reach out to us. We provide all of our clients with a discount on the Austin air purifiers. So, and I have one set up in every single bedroom, as well as, ones in our main living spaces as well. But making sure that your air is being completely cycled out. And I know a lot of people have been shut in for the winter because they've got the AC on, it's too hot outside. But we do want to get those windows open because the air inside our homes is often more toxic than the air outside of our homes. Another reason to have the air purification systems. But yeah, So, all right, you guys, I know we're a few minutes over, but we had a lot to cover and we're going to talk about more of these things. So the other thing that is launching next month is the podcast. So we will have the podcast where you'll hear from me, but you'll also hear from other experts. So that's coming down the pike as well. There's so much happening over here. So, but we're excited, you guys. So thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next week. And next week's topic that we are going to focus on is, Carissa, you got it?
Yes. Next week is, almost like a follow-up is stress management techniques.
Yeah. Awesome. Maybe I'll even give you guys a little preview of what's to come from the TED Talk, from the book.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
So that'll be a good reason for you to be there. So we will see you on Monday next week, right? Yes. Monday again at 12:30. Okay, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.